Happy holidays from Nashville, Tennessee. Temperature in the high 30s. Wind not a problem. No rain expected. A great day for football as the Tennessee Titans host Mike Mularkey and his Jacksonville Jaguars. Mike in the throes of a bad season, but as everybody who's played him and everybody in that organization says, they never stop playing hard. They're waiting for a breakthrough game perhaps today. They played the Patriots so tough last week, and there is Mike Munchak, his counterpart and good friend, now in his second season as the head coach of the Tennessee Titans. Munchak, a Pro Football Hall of Famer as an offensive lineman. He's been in the organization for 30 years, dating back to his playing days with the Houston Oilers. Jaguars won the toss, and they elect to send their defense out first. They're going to kick off. There is the return man, Darius Raynaud. High spinning kick hit downfield. Raynaud comes up on the run and takes it at the 7. Breaks it across the 15, finds the gap, and then a good open field tackle, and he is taken down. Look at the Jake Locker coming out at quarterback now. Second-year player, first-year starter. Locker from the University of Washington has had a lot of problems with sacks in the last few games. Sacked 7 times last week at Green Bay. They've got to protect him better, Randy.
Well, like any good young quarterback, you need a running game and a defense to give you the best chance to win. He hasn't had either on most occasions.
No, he is not. Here goes the guy you were talking about in the opening, first on the field. Good-looking run. Chris Johnson, who makes a lot of good-looking runs. Russell Allen makes the stop. Ryan Stingley starting at right tackle again today. Yes, every team has injuries in the offensive line. Looking at the skill position players, Brandon Barden from Vanderbilt, a rookie, gets the starting call today. Greg Stevens, the starter, out with a concussion. 2nd and 5 for Tennessee. Rolling out his Locker, very mobile, poorly thrown ball, incomplete. As we look now at the defense of the Jaguars, Justin Babin is a former Tennessee Titan, had a great year with them. He's always putting the pressure on at defensive end. Paul Postlowski, the middle linebacker, the all-time leading tackler at Penn State as a collegian, leading the Jaguars in tackles. And in the secondary, playing very well in the defensive backfield is Derek Cox, who has 4 interceptions, had an interception of Tom Brady of the Patriots last week. 3rd and 5. Locker gets some time, can get it with his feet maybe, throws a high ball, but it's caught, and it's a first down for Tennessee. Nate Washington comes down with the ball with his 46th catch of the year. 21-yard gain, Randy.
And when you saw Jake Locker at Washington in college playing well, he got the ball to his receivers like Nate Washington on much a play like that. He would be pressured, he'd buy the time, he'd step up, good mechanics, get the ball out to your best receiver right now, Nate Washington.
So a 21-yard play, and now the Titans are out across their 45 to the 47, first down and 10. In the backfield behind Locker. Play fake, looking deep, long ball downfield, receivers out there, coming down with it at the 15-yard line with a tremendous catch.
Lavelle Hawkins,
Lavelle Hawkins, who hasn't got much playing time, that's good for 42 yards.
Yeah, they come out in a formation, looks like the pistol full house, except he's under center. Play action is bid on, and Lavelle Hawkins just gets a nice edge. And Locker throws a beautiful ball. You see, when he's moving around, when his feet aren't set, and he's throwing on the run or running to pass, that's when Jake Locker is his best.
Mike Munchak told us yesterday, the advice to Locker, don't force things, take what's there. And that time the long ball was there as they go to the run. And the Titans come out firing well on offense, and they drive the ball inside the 5-yard line. Krosinski, the free safety, makes the stop for the Jaguars.
You take a look at the blocking up front. Pretty remarkable that the blocking is as good as it is. They've got 5 offensive linemen on injured reserve to Tennessee, but Bruce Matthews, their other Hall of Fame lineman on this organization, does a very nice job coaching that group up front. That was a beautiful job inside.
There he was, Kendall Wright, is wide to the left, rookie receiver. Instead they go back to the run, and now the Jaguars come hitting hard. Chris Johnson gets the carry, and DeJuan Landry, the leading tacklers for the Jaguars, comes up from a strong safety position and hits him hard.
Well, Don, that play was a good example of what Chris Johnson has had to overcome at times as a runner behind this offensive line. He's making people miss and dodging in the backfield. And the really good runners can do that, but preferably you don't have to do that to get near the line of scrimmage, not in your own backfield.
Now the line of scrimmage is at the 2-yard line of the Jaguars. 3rd and 1. In the end zone, stepping in. The Titans make it look easy. Chris Johnson with his 6th touchdown of the year from 2 yards out. And the Titans on their home field after getting blown out of Green Bay look great on this opening drive.
Chris Pazinski, the free safety on the right side of the screen, pops into the view real quick, but Chris Johnson has got beautiful jump step acceleration. That one step, he saw how wide open the outside was, and he still has got plenty of scoots left to get around a defense that he can easily outflank.
Now Robbie Baronis is in to try the point after. That was a 79-yard drive in 7 plays. Here is the extra point. Get up and good. It's a 7-0 game. Tennessee as Johnson's in the end zone, and the Titans will kick off when we come back to Nashville. Back to Nashville. Don Criqui with Randy Cross. Impressive opening drive for the Titans. 79 yards in 7 plays. Chris Johnson on the payoff end from 2 yards out. Locker throwing very well in that drive. 2 of 3 for 63 yards. Now ready to kick off is Robbie Baronis. Back deep is 16, Jordan Shipley, the former University of Texas star. Ball is hit, a line drive. It'll carry deep. Now coming up to the goal line is Shipley. Blockers in front, and Shipley finds a gap and does a good job getting the ball out close to the 24-yard line for the Jaguars. Justin Blackmon is a guy to watch. Justin Blackmon with 58 catches already this year. He had a touchdown reception on the opening drive last week against New England. That's coming up.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Here we go. And by Jeep. Visit Jeep.com to learn more.
A beautiful December day in Nashville, Tennessee. First down for the Jaguars. A fastball thrown by Chad Henne, and it's too hard to handle. Mike Brown was the target. Chad Henne in his 5th year from the University of Michigan, where he started 4 years. His first 4 years in the NFL were with the Dolphins. Chad Henne, a good team leader, threw for 348 last week against the Patriots, but also threw 3 interceptions in a 7-point loss for the Jags. Jaguars were inside the Patriots' 25-yard line 7 times in that game. Only got 1 touchdown out of it. Here's a handoff. And Pete Austin runs the ball and not very far. As we look at the Jaguars on offense, Michael Griffin was the tackler. Valos starting at right guard. A lot of juxtaposition because of injuries in the offensive front. Skill position players. Mercedes Lewis with 45 catches and also a great blocker. He blocks like an offensive tackle.
He's 5 catches away from his second 50-plus reception year, and I think in this game to take pressure off, make Blackman's job a little easier, would be a good way to get the ball in the middle of the field to him.
Here's a 3rd and 10 throw coming up for Henne. Down the field, open target, makes the connection across the 40-yard line, and Justin Blackmon with his 59th catch of the year delivers a big play, a 17-yard gain on 3rd and 10.
You remember Justin Blackmon when he was in college at Oklahoma State, really very much a spread type of an offense, does a good job and has really turned into a student in this offense, learning defenses on the NFL game.
He really does. He works very hard at it. He's a 2-time Bolitnikoff Award winner at Oklahoma State as the #1 receiver in the country as a collegian. Now with the run is Keith Toston in his 2nd year from Oklahoma State, where he was a teammate of Justin Blackmon. Injuries in the running back field of the Jaguars. Montel Owens is out today. That was an 11-yard gain, though, Randy.
Tostin literally, the 6th or 7th running back that's got a chance to start for this football team. They have had a world of hurt at running back, led by Maurice Jones-Drew going down, and Jennings.
Now, 1st and 10, Jaguars, 48-yard line of the Titans. Henny clearly changing the play at the line of scrimmage. Tostin again. Run power right, and again he rips the Titan defense for a 1st down carry.
There's a little look at what we see. Montel Owens, who was supposed to start today, woke up with a sore knee, and Tostin gets
a lot of yards, Randy, being run up early in this game. Is it standout offense or not so standout defense? Maybe a little of each.
This defense, giving up points-wise, is one of the worst ever for Tennessee.
In the game, running well, ripping through the Titans defense is Richard Murphy, a 2nd-year runner from LSU, stopped by cornerback Jason McCourty. Looking at the defensive line, Eric Morgan playing well. New linebacker, Randy in the middle. Shaw gets the start.
Yeah, Colin McCarthy having to sit down. Another injury, and Afalafa starts for Babineau in the defensive backfield today.
Second down and less than a yard for the Jaguars. Power run, booming ahead is Richard Murphy. They see something they like in the left side of that Titan defense, Randy, as they're blowing them off the ball on that side.
Yeah, they really are. If you look inside, here is where the job is going to be done on these 2 defensive linemen. Watch the movement heading backwards. Both are double teams. Knighton is stymied, but on the backside, you've got so much movement, that opens up that great big hole inside to run through. 13 yards on that run.
13 yards it was, and now the Jaguars driving on their first possession, looking to tie the game. Back to the run. This time they run left, and going hard is Keith Tostin. He's cut down at about the 6-yard line of the Titans by outside linebacker Zach Brown, a rookie from North Carolina who's playing some great football.
You look at this Titans defense, they can get after a quarterback. And the best cure, if you're facing a Derek Morgan at one end and a Cameron Wembley at the other end, and you're worried about them getting after your quarterback, they can't pass rush with a tackle in their chops, run blocking them right in his face.
Well, they are run blocking in the face. You can't do it that way, though. Somebody jumped, so it'd be a false start.
Offense, number 66. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Valos called for a false start, so they're set back 5.
Valos out of Wake Forest, been in the league about 5 years. And that's been the kind of year for Mike Mularkey in this offense and this football team. You get inopportune penalties and mistakes at bad times.
That was a bad time to get one as they're driving for a go at the tying touchdown. Here's a fastball right on target to the 5-yard line. A good throw by Chad Henne, drilling a fastball right on the sure hands of Justin Blackman.
Yeah, there's not much when you start picking apart young players that you can aim at with Justin Blackman outside of the experience. He just doesn't have much of it. But, you give this guy another year or two and a solid guy at quarterback to throw him the ball, you can have one of the better receivers in the league.
Without question. They say he's not super fast, but he gets behind safeties on the fly patterns. Now it's 3rd down. Henne, beautifully targeted ball. Jordan Shipley on the payoff end, and the Jaguars drive down the field, and they're now an extra point away from tying this game at 7.
Well, there's confusion and there's utter confusion. And Shipley causes utter confusion with the underneath. You run one receiver in Blackman on a drag pattern one way. You send your tight end, Mercedes Lewis, up the field and drag the slot. Shipley behind him, and Tennessee had no answer.
Utter confusion always trumps confusion.
It does.
And Shipley gets himself free, and now the extra point attempt coming up by Josh Scobie. He booms it. And the Jaguars answer, 76 yards in 10 plays. Shipley on a 5-yard pass reception for the touchdown. Impressive drive by the Jaguars. They take it right down the field. 10 plays, 76 yards. Touchdown pass, Henne to Shipley.
We talked about, here's Justin Blackman. He'll come along and drag. Here's Mercedes Lewis. He's going here. Shipley just moves into the flat. And thus is born the utter confusion that was the Tennessee defense on that play.
Wide open target, and he makes him pay. Jaguars defeated Tennessee earlier this year, 24-19. In that game, Chad Henne was sacked 7 times, but he also threw for 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, smart play there by Darius Reynaud. That's a live ball. He just comes up and knocks it out of bounds. I mean, the Tennessee kickoff return team acted like someone had called a fair catch or something, or infield fly rule.
Officials huddling. Referee Bill Vinovich.
It wasn't illegal. It was not an illegal touch because Reynaud hadn't been out of bounds. So unless there's a penalty.
He's calling over Mike Malarkey to explain it to him. Is Bill Vinovich, then he'll explain it to us.
The question has to be, did he knock it out with his hand or did he kick it out with his foot? Because if he kicked it out with his foot, that's the flag.
Illegal bat. Receiving team, number 21.
Yeah.
Penalties decline.
Illegal
Tennessee
batting.
gets the ball. First down.
So Tennessee will have the ball at their 15-yard line in this tie game, 7-7 at Nashville.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by AT&T. Rethink possible. And by Nationwide Insurance. Nationwide is on your side.
You really don't need the mask today. It's gotten so nice, but I think he wears that even in hot weather. That's part of the getup. Right now, though, the Tennessee Titans with a game tied 7-7. They have Mike Otto, an offensive lineman, reported eligible as a tight end.
All the Wolves they've had at tight end, they've got to use Otto as the third tight end.
Blow it up in the backfield. A loss on the play. Chris Johnson runs, hit by Mincy. Thought your fantasy season was over? Well, it's not. NFL Playoff Challenge is back and better than ever. You could win a trip to Super Bowl 48 in 2014. Play today at NFL.com/fantasy. Here we go, Randy, with a playoff picture. 6 teams are in the American Football Conference. Still some jockeying for who's got the buys.
Yeah, between both Denver, Houston, and New England. And New England may know its fate by the end of these 1 o'clock games.
Locker makes an athletic move and grabs a high snap and does well to get back to the 16-yard line to bring up a 3rd and long. George Selvey from South Florida, who was extremely highly regarded as a pass rusher in college, comes in and puts the heat on.
Well, the center, too, with that snap was Kyle Devan, who was waived earlier in the year. He's got experience playing with the Indianapolis Colts, playing as a guard with them primarily, and heck, he'd actually gone back to Oregon State to do a little volunteer coaching with Mike Riley's Beavers.
Now he's ready to snap the ball again. His center, Kyle Devan. Long ball, receivers out there, on target and dropped. Nate Washington, normally so sure-handed, drops a perfectly thrown ball by Jake Locker.
Yeah, that's something these Tennessee Titan fans haven't seen too often, especially on 3rd and long. is a wide open receiver running down the field. Nothing between Nate Washington and the goal line but grass. And he takes his eyes off the ball, and as a result takes his hands off the ball.
And looking, Randy, at that great replay from the end zone, it was a little bit of a reach to get it, but it was a ball Nate normally gets. So the Titans punt, and they boom it. Brett Kern hits it downfield. Jordan Shipley tries to return it. 49-yard punt and a 4-yard return. Out again, quarterback to team Chad Henne. There's the long ball, just off the hands of Nate Washington. We're back to Nashville, Tennessee. Mike Malarkey's Jaguars. 7-7 tie with Tennessee, and the Jags back on offense after getting a stop on the last possession by the Titans. Keith Toston getting a lot of work early. Not only does CBS have the #1 comedy and drama and the top news shows, but this season more people watch the NFL on CBS than on any other network. And for that, we thank you so very much.
Where did he go? Miami Dale! Miami Dale! Where'd he go?
All right, second down now for the Jaguars, running hard and not very far. Some really good hitting on Keith Toston, multiple hits. Now, while we have a break in the action here, let's go to James Brown in New York. JB.
A good way to start with Chuck Pagano's return.
It really was, JB. 13-play opening drive for the Colts. Andrew Luck, the Colby Fleener 1-yard TD pass. Colts lead 7-0 over the Texans, who are playing for the #1 seed in the AFC playoffs.
All right, back to Don Criqui and Randy Cross.
Thank you, JB and Boomer.
Indy locked in at #5 in the AFC.
Third down, needing 3. Henne stands in. Almost a pick and then a catch.
What a catch. Reach back with one hand, Mercedes Lewis, and snatch it. Wow. The tight end out of UCLA turned into a great blocker, but he hasn't forgotten how to catch as he bats it in the air with one hand and catches it going backwards on the deflection and gets the first down before it hits the ground.
Now Henne throws a ball downfield and a terrific play. Tony Clemens makes his first catch for the Jaguars, and it's good for 17 and a first down.
You know, already Jacksonville has rushed for over 60 yards. They ran for 52 yards in that first drive against this Tennessee Titans defense.
Both teams running plays rapid fire, particularly the Jaguars really slow this one down as Henne calmly checks with his linemen and his receivers, tell him we're doing this. We talked about the huddle.
Plenty of time on the clock, no reason to rush.
Straight ahead power, and Toston shoots out and makes a gain down to the 25 as we go back to JB and Boomer in New York.
Bears hoping for a postseason berth.
Offensive guys like me and Randy Cross love playing against defenses that don't want to tackle. Like here, the Detroit Lions. Ball thrown behind the line of scrimmage turns into a 60-yard TD reception for Earl Bennett. Chicago on top 7-3.
All right, back to Don and Randy.
And we go back to the running game here as the ball is taken inside the 25-yard line on a second down and 5 play. Derek Morgan makes the stop on Keith Toston. He's the go-to guy so far, Randy.
Yeah, he really has been, but check out the blocking up front. And if you're going to have a defensive lineman standing up to buckle his chin strap, you ought to be able to gain a lot more yards than that. Derek Marks wasn't even in the game. He was buckling his chin strap when that ball was snapped. You got to blast somebody like that off the ball.
Derek wanted to be sure he was properly
bad time for it.
girded up for
bad time to go cosmetic.
67. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
So a penalty is now called.
You know, again, we're seeing another mistake being made by an offensive lineman. In this case, Austin Pastor. Jumps off sides, costs him 5 yards, goes from 3rd and 5, which is a pretty manageable down and distance for a quarterback and an offensive play caller, to now you're at 3rd and 10. And you've got a good chance of subjecting your quarterback to some blitzing and a pretty good shot in the chops.
That'll gonna do it for the first quarter of play as the clock winds down and out. Tie game, and the Jaguars driving 7-7. Tennessee and Jacksonville will return to Nashville after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 47. Back to Nashville. Chad Henne, quarterback for the Jaguars, 5 of 6 throwing the ball. 53 yards. Jags rushing the ball well, 64 yards rushing so far, 6.4.
Despite all those running back injuries, and here on 3rd and 10, they're already at 47 yards for Josh Scobie in the field goal.
Line to gain is the 20-yard line of the Titans. A 3rd and 10 it is. Here's a safety blitz. Ball is still, look at that catch, and heading to the end zone is Justin Blackmon. That kind of talent gets you drafted number 5 in the first round. This guy's, he's sensational.
Yeah, when we get to a replay, just watch the various body parts of Justin Blackmon. You can see his feet. Now watch his hips and then the trunk of his body, and his hands actually snatch all the way back over his right shoulder to catch that ball. But Don, the rest of his lower body was already heading upfield by the time he reached back for that ball. That was some world-class contortionism.
That was absolutely sensational catch and run and touchdown. Extra point. Scobie didn't have a whole lot into it, but he had enough.
Looked like it was drop kicked.
And the Jaguars now take the lead 14-7. They'll kick off when we come back. With Randy Cross, this is Don Criqui back in Nashville, Tennessee. Randy, you talked at the outset about there can be a good Henne and a not so good Henne. Today he's been a sensational Henne.
Yeah, he really has, and he's had a sensational Justin Blackmon.
6 of 7 for Henne throwing, 83 yards, 2 touchdowns. Now the kick return by Darius Renaud. Out across the 20-yard line out to the 22.
You know, 2 updates back, you heard Boomer talk about bad tackling. Well, here, watch Al Afalava. He takes a bad angle coming in and looking at Justin Blackmon. He's at the deep safety. Here's the bad angle, 2 straight on, and Blackmon goes right up the field. That's a combination of bad tackling and good acceleration just as he was catching the pass by Blackmon.
Now let's see if they can catch Locker's pass. There's a long ball, overshoots everybody, and there's a penalty marker down at the 41-yard line of the Titans. Could be an interference call. We'll see which way. Here's Bill Vinovich.
That's right in the illegal contact area.
Illegal contact. Defense number 21. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Derek Cox, who intercepted Tom Brady last week. Let's call for the interference call. First down, Titans.
Right there, that thump in the chest. Once you get past 5 yards, you're not allowed to do that. It was okay for Mel Blunt and company about 30 years ago, but they've outlawed that for some time now in the NFL.
Green 80.
That makes it first down. Locker goes to the run and a terrific tackle in the backfield as Chris Johnson runs the ball. And the stop is made by Justin Babin. Number 58, who was with the Titans in 2010 and went to the Pro Bowl.
Well, Babin's able to make a play like that. You want to talk about a little instability on the offensive line? Look at the change. Look at the difference. 3 of the starters on injured reserve, 2 of the key backups on injured reserve, 5 offensive linemen overall, and that's why you get that kind of penetration.
Timeout on the field. Titans on their home field, down by 7.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Acura. Acura. Advance. Farmers. Find a knowledgeable local farmers agent at farmers.com. We are insurance. We are farmers. And by T-Mobile. Nationwide 4G coverage from coast to coast.
And we welcome you back to the capital city of Tennessee, Nashville, where the Jaguars of Jacksonville are up 14-7. Coming up on the Verizon halftime report, joined JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cowher for all the latest NFL scores, highlights, and playoff information. It's coming up on the Verizon halftime report. A lot of the fans in Jacksonville like left-handed quarterbacks, as you know, Randy. Boomers might have a few snaps left in him. He's a pretty good one, MVP 1 year.
I'm not sure if that's a left-hander in Jacksonville they have in mind.
No. Here now is an over-the-middle throw. Arcing in the defense, Kenny Britt, and he advances the ball out to the 35-yard line.
Here's the NFC playoff picture. Still some stuff to be decided, but this is the team right here. If you're in the NFC, you want no part of the Seattle Seahawks. Pete Carroll's football team, especially to me, if you're the Atlanta Falcons at the #1 seed, home field advantage, that first week in the divisional round that you're going to play, you don't want to see the Seahawks.
The Seahawks, they're scoring 50 a game, and they're not giving up many points. But if Atlanta can keep advancing in the playoffs with home field, they go right to a home field Super Bowl or an indoor Super Bowl, which is like a home field for them.
And this last play with Locker, you know, if you can step into this little toss, that's one thing. But when you're having your offensive lineman walk back into your lap, you know, I'm not excusing a high throw, but I can understand it when your offensive tackle's stepping on your foot.
It can impede things. Right now, Jordan Shipley, who has a touchdown catch today, is back for the Jaguars, getting ready for the punt. Big charge into it by Brett Kern. Shipley dancing. Special teams coverage is there. So a timeout with 13-19 to play in the first half, and the Jaguars by 7. Jacksonville on offense. They're last in the NFL in pass offense. Last season they were close to it this year, but today Henny's throwing the ball accurately on target. Right now with a 7-0 lead. He goes 1st and 10 inside his 15. On target throw to Justin Blackmon. Tomorrow on CBS. Take a trip to paradise and leave winter behind. Hawaii 5-0. Only CBS. Hey, it's pretty nice here in the capital city of Tennessee, Randy.
Yeah, it isn't that nice. It isn't Hawaii.
No,
nice.
no, it's not Hawaii.
Everybody needs a trip to Hawaii.
Kenny, who was a 4-year starter at the University of Michigan. First 4 years in the league with the Dolphins, he was a #2 draft choice for us.
And this Tennessee defense has been the perfect tonic for Henny and Blackmon.
Straight ahead power, not a whole lot going on.
You know, for Mike Mularkey and these Jacksonville Jaguars, this is the worst year of this franchise's history, and their new owner, Shad Khan, took the team over officially earlier in January. He's got to be getting a little frustrated. Everything stayed relatively in place. He brought in Mularkey. There was a report out today that Gene Smith, the general manager's job, is in serious jeopardy as of today or early tomorrow. There are going to be so many changes for these Jaguars.
That's what happens. 2 and 13. Shipley makes a good hands grab at the 27-yard line of the Jaguars.
And you continue the theme of what I was just talking about. Mularkey, if you change the GM, you're probably going to, you know, change a coach. And all these other jobs are in play. Romeo Cornell assumed out. Andy Reid will not be in Philly, but will be somewhere else. Pat Shurmur, Ken Wisenhunt. Extensive list. I would say for me, there's 8, could be 10 new head coaches after a year last year where there were 7 new head coaches.
Right now, Henny swings it out of the backfield off target. Big rush put on him. Coming hard, and inside was the tackle, Jarrell Casey. But who do you go to as the replacements, Randy? You've got to go to assistant coaches in a lot of cases.
Assistant coaches, college coaches. And everybody wants a young defensive lineman like that to put pressure on a quarterback, and it's what Mike Mularkey and his offensive staff really can't allow for when you call plays, is that inside quick pressure.
And that brings a 2nd down and 10. Breaking into open field and driving out across the 35, close to the 37-yard line, is Keith Tostin, second-year runner from Oklahoma State.
You want a cure for what ails you? Some people say it's cowbell, but in this case, it's gimme more running. Until somebody stops it, Jacksonville, I think, has got to continually keep going back to the run.
They have not been stopping it. Tostin, Randy, now with 10 carries for 53 yards. 3rd down and less than a yard. Play fake, looking deep, airing it out. Receivers there, almost picked. Terrific defensive play by Jason McCourty, who is the top corner for the Tennessee Titans.
And had Blackman open if you throw it high and by him. Not enough air under that ball, but I think the fault lies in the original play and the play call. At 3rd and short, as well as you've run the ball so far, just run it again and get the 1st down and throw it on the next series of downs. Didn't like that call.
Well, it didn't work, and it's the first punt of the day now coming up for the Jaguars. Ball hit downfield. Renaud comes up on it. Dancing, finding some room, and a very nice return against some good coverage. Let's watch that near interception, Randy, a moment ago.
Yeah, and when you don't get the air underneath it, then it gives the defensive back a chance. And you look at it from that angle, it's clearly a ball that you know is intended for Blackman, but he is by far, he isn't even close to being the best guy on the field as far as the ability to catch the ball. Jason McCourty had a chance to get his 5th of the year.
McCourty, who's a twin brother, is a starting cornerback for the New England Patriots, both out of Rutgers. Turning outside is the super fast Chris Johnson. As he breaks it, bounces, and Derek Cox gets him out of bounds, but Cox gets it. Makes the play at 19 yards downfield.
Yeah, number 21, Derek Cox, recovers. He gets inside. He's supposed to have contain on that outside, but he's there enough to make Chris Johnson run out of bounds. If Chris Johnson gets this corner, you got a chance. If you saw the open, he was clocked at 24 miles an hour. Could have gone up to 25 miles an hour on that next run.
Usain Bolt, I think it peaks out at 27. That's without all the equipment on. Here's a penalty marker fired in from behind the play. Single against the Titans.
It's a holding.
Holding. Offense number 81. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 1st down.
Brandon Barden, rookie from Vanderbilt, getting his first start in the NFL today.
You know, the tight ends that have been down, Craig Stevens out of this game, Jason Cook out of this game on IR. Brandon Barden from Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's playing the Music City Bowl. That kicks off tomorrow at 11 o'clock against North Carolina State. So Barden will probably be in a season-ending meeting when his alma mater kicks off.
Right now, Jake Locker, who's been sacked 19 times in the previous 5 games. He's been clean so far today. They haven't gotten to him. Look at that defense there. Terrific defense. Heat was on Darrell Smith, the veteran from Georgia Tech. Hemmed him in. A loss of 7 yards on the play, Randy.
It looked like an intentional play. It appeared more like a missed call. You know, it almost needs a cartoon voice going, "Rut-row," because you turn that corner and suddenly you've got Sensabaugh and everyone else about to chase you down and do you ill harm. That's not a very good call, not a good situation to put your own quarterback in.
And again, now the defense getting real aggressive, and the boos start to rain down as Renaud carried the ball, and Jason Babin is a surprise cut by the Eagles this year. They just waved him outright. What a mistake.
Well, he does a good job in this case playing in that same kind of wide 9 look coming up the field and then recovering back inside to get in on the tackle. So you've had a holding call, a bad play call resulting in a big loss, and then another loss.
And all of that resulting in a 3rd and 27. Walker fires on target, but way short of a 1st down. As Poslusny comes up to make the stop on Taylor Thompson, a rookie tight end from SMU for the Titans. So the ball's out to the 42-yard line of Tennessee now. Jaguars, who were a winner over the Titans in week 12, holding to a 7-point lead today.
The key here is trying to get a punt near the sideline or out of bounds somewhere around the 10-yard line.
Brent Kern right foots the ball from his 32. Here's Shipley for the Jaguars. 15. 2 arms on the ball, protecting it well. He gets to the 22. There, Jaguars after a 46-yard punt and a 9-yard return will go 1st and 10.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Microsoft Surface and by the all-new Honda Accord. It starts with you.
We're back to Nashville. Don Criqui, Randy Cross, Jaguars with the ball. And a 14-7 lead on the Tennessee Titans.
Chad Henne off to a heck of a start. 8 of 11, 93 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Shipley and Blackman on the payoff end of those 2 scores. And now a reverse. And here comes Blackman on the reverse. Give him the ball. He knows what to do with it. And he advances the ball out across the 30-yard line, out close to the 33. He's got 12 and a first down.
Chad Henne off to a great day running the ball, tries to get out, or passing the ball, tries to get out in front as a blocker.
The Jaguars out to their 33-yard line. Joe Philbin, coach of the Dolphins, told us last week, and he coached Aaron Rodgers his whole career on Green Bay until he went to Miami this year. So what you have to have in the NFL is here's a sack in the backfield, a big heat coming from the Titans led by Derek Morgan. Joe Philbin said you have to have a quarterback with a rating over 90 and a completion percentage at least 65% to win.
Well, you've got Derek Morgan on one side, 91, and Cameron Wembley, 95, coming on the other side. And that's what you're asking for when you don't hammer the ball at these kind of pass rushers. And you've got a running back in Toston that's off to a pretty good start, 5.3 per carry with 53 yards. Keep using that run.
4th straight game allowing a sack. Wembley putting the heat down, a 7-year veteran, former Seminole at Florida State. And there's an interesting stat last season. A team that gets sacked on that possession is a 93% chance they won't score a touchdown. Back to Nashville, Tennessee. Jacksonville Jaguars, 14-7 leaders. They've scored the last 2 touchdowns that come from behind. Some Titan fans, Randy, no, he's not anonymous anymore. He's throwing his bag away. But at any rate, it is a 2nd down and 17 for the Jags. Here is Henne standing in. Beautifully thrown spiral. They get back the lost yardage and more as the ball is advanced out to the 37-yard line. Mercedes Lewis, a very nice big target. Underrated guy.
Well, this offense has gone from an offense that was all about Maurice Jones-Drew and Mercedes Lewis, and now with a slot like Shipley and a wide receiver like Blackman, it's more wide receiver centric and pass centric. But I don't think if they want to be smart about this, don't forget your roots. You have a very good receiving tight end in Mercedes Lewis.
Let's see if he gets the ball now on a 3rd down and 6 play. Henne on target to Blackman, and it's a 1st down for the Jaguars. Alderon Werner gets him down, but another terrific catch and run by the first-year player from Oklahoma State. A 12-yard gain.
Well, we've seen Blackman do a little bit of everything, and Werner can't really catch up to Blackman. Blackman's running a crossing pattern, little rub there at the very beginning, puts Martin Werner behind, and once he gets behind, it's an easy throw for Henne.
That was his 5th catch, Randy, for 71 yards for Blackman, 1 for a touchdown. Toston now runs the ball. Falava makes the stop.
And for an offense looking for rhythm, these kind of plays that put you in 2nd and 6 or so really gives the play callers a big edge. Everybody can do 2nd and 6 and 2nd and 5. It's when you start having 2nd and 10 and 2nd and 12, the list shortens down a lot.
John Elway once said, quarterbacking is about converting 3rd down. Here's a throw downfield, partially tipped it appeared to be. The Jaguars led the Patriots twice by 10-point margins last week. 10-0 and 13-3, but they couldn't convert on all those red zone possessions for touchdowns and lost the game.
Oh, their last 2 possessions of the game, one that was in the red zone, heading through the 1 interception. Then they got the ball back with less than a minute to go, down by 7, and threw another interception trying to make something happen inside.
Jake Locker was on. He said he learned a lot watching Aaron Rodgers last week at Green Bay.
He probably learned he wants to play more against his defense.
Right now, dropping his Henny, a fastball and the drop at the 36-yard line. Coming across was the linebacker, Zach Brown, and he almost picked it. Should have picked it.
Zach Brown is a hugely gifted young linebacker out of North Carolina. This young guy can flat go. Too bad he didn't catch that. You'd have seen some pretty good speed out of a linebacker, but you're always reminded of there's a good reason defensive guys with that kind of speed are defensive guys and not receivers.
And Zach Brown in the first full game with Jacksonville had 10 tackles and 1.5 sacks. Fair catch at the 10. So it is a 37-yard punt, all net yardage. Keep your fantasy football season going with Playoff Challenge and compete throughout the postseason for a chance to win up to $1,600. Sign up now at cbssports.com/challenge. The Titans ready to go on offense again now with the first-year starter, the second-year player, Jake Locker. He was the 8th player picked in the first round out of the University of Washington last year. Missed 5 games, number 10 did, this season with a shoulder injury. Mike Munchak said one of the problems, we have not run the ball well except once in games that he started, the 9 previous starts.
And it really goes back to what's happening up front. You know, we showed you the graphic earlier about 3 of the guys that were designated as starters on that line are now on injured reserve, 2 of the key backups. So 5 total usable linemen are on injured reserve.
Illegal motion. Offense, number 85. Penalties decline. 2nd down.
That motion against Nate Washington, wide receiver, and that will drive Mike Munchak as an offensive lineman nuts. Upper end of the left side here, Nate Washington, 85, coming into frame, and he's edging towards the line of scrimmage instead of laterally. That's why they call that a penalty.
Penalty it was. 2nd down and almost 10. Locker with a fastball comes into the wrong side, but Kenny Britt usually catches those. That brings up 3rd down and 10.
So, you know, the Titans offense that you saw in the first series, running the ball effectively, 15, 16 yards out of Chris Johnson, some key runs, nice passing, very comfortable passing by Jake Locker. We haven't seen that offense out of Mike Munchak's football team since that first drive. Since then, there's been penalties, and there's been some just, I think, bad execution and bad play calling.
And drops have been a problem.
Yeah, 3 of them so far.
Tennessee. Locker on 3rd and needing 10. Look at that blitz. Nobody looked at him.
That's Paul Posluszny coming from the middle linebacker, inside linebacker position. 51. Watch him come all the way around.
Linebacker's dream. Like hitting a tackling dummy. Nobody picked him up.
And for those of you that are a little younger out there, you hear the term hit through the object, don't hit to it. Posluszny accelerates towards Jake Locker and hits through Jake Locker.
Posluszny told us yesterday, Randy, nobody on this team quits. We all play hard every down. We got character guys. They all feel badly about the record. But so far, the Jaguars playing good football. Here is the hit downfield by Kern. The return now by Jordan Shipley, and he's leveled at the 48-yard line.
You know, Mike Munchak, the head coach of the Tennessee Titans, I think sums it up for a lot of fans in this building right now. Wow is right, Mike. That last couple possessions, that isn't what you want. That's not even in the worst case scenario building.
So Mike Munchak, a Pro Football Hall of Famer, is an offensive lineman on his 12-year career with the Oilers. He's been in this organization for 30 years. Now in his second year as head coach. There's another guy that's on his coaching staff, another Hall of Famer, Bruce Matthews. First down and 10, Jaguars. Swing pass on target to Tostin, and he breaks tackles, and Tostin's on the run. A first down and still going as he drives down to the 30. 21-yard gain.
You know, we were talking a little about Bruce Matthews and Mike Munchak, the head coach, and when they were with the Titans were about a couple of things. They were about thumping you. They were about running the ball. They had a smart quarterback in all cases, and they had a good physical defense. That's something they need to build back towards. They do not have anywhere near as physical a football team as they need to be.
Right now, the physical game is that of the run game of the Jaguars as they again run power. And Tostin moving to the outside has a good gain down to the 20-yard line. Very close to a first down. Just short of it appears.
Now here's a young man taking full advantage of his opportunity. Montel Owens, he was supposed to be the #1 running back. Tostin is supposed to be the #2 running back, seeing some action. Owens comes up with a bad knee today. Sore knee. As you see Henny get himself a first down. Tostin is making the best of all the chances he's getting.
It's an audition for a young guy like Tostin, a backup, getting his shot and really capitalizing, but there is a penalty marker down.
It was a quick snap there on that sneak by Henny. In that instance, it could throw the official off when you see everything moves inside so quick, or somebody lined up offsides.
Illegal shift. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat second down. 2-minute warning.
Yeah, but who's it on? That's what Mike Malarkey wants to know. Who are the two guys moving? Welcome back to Nashville, and here's what not to do on a quarterback sneak. Lewis is moving, Monroe is moving, Clemens is moving when the ball is snapped. That is a penalty.
So, Chad Henne throws the pick, and on the run is the linebacker.
There's that speed.
Zach Brown, you talked about him, a draft choice from North Carolina, takes it the distance. And the Titans are an extra point away from tying the game.
That's the old fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. He gets his second shot, and Zach Brown puts that accelerator down and does a good imitation of Chris Johnson. Just making it a blur. Trying to get the ball to Mercedes Lewis. Zach Brown poaches underneath. Comes in that zone defense, gets an interception, and does not take long to get to the end zone.
He sure doesn't. 79 yards of return on the pick, and now the extra point attempt by Baronis, and the game will be tied. So with 1:48 left to play in the first half, the Titans hit a big defensive play, a defensive home run, and they've tied the game at 14-all, and will kick off next. Rookie linebacker Zach Brown from North Carolina, drafted in the second round, makes a sensational play. Here it is, Randy.
There's Zach Brown lining up in that linebacker position. Watch when he comes underneath. They're going to try to get the ball to Mercedes Lewis, the tight end. He comes right underneath it, and he breaks on the ball as Chan Henne takes that left hand off the ball and starts to throw. And there you see some of the speed. And Zach Brown's a great example of a good amount of young talent here at Tennessee. They need to draft more line help, but at linebacker, DB, wide receiver, they've got some very good young talent. I think things are looking up for Mike Munchak and company. Last year, 9-7. This year, obviously disappointing for a lot of different reasons, but there's no reason to expect the needle, I think, shouldn't be going back up here at Tennessee.
What a draft choice in the second round, Zach Brown. See if that ignites his team now. Shipley elects to take it from the end zone. and breaks it. There's a blocking foul. It's coming back. Great return by Shipley, who's still not done as he crosses midfield.
And the grand scheme of things, that was just exercise. The last 40 yards.
Full speed ahead, but it all comes back.
Holding. Receiving team number 56. Absence at the goal. Jacksonville keeps the ball. First down.
Holding call against UCLA linebacker Akeem Ayers.
56 is Kyle Bosworth. Is that? But anyway, he's also from UCLA.
There you go.
Your school. Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Power for all the latest scores and highlights and playoff information that's coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. Very happiest of holidays to all of you from everybody at CBS Sports. Our producer today is Sellers Shy. Director Jim Cornell. The executive producers of the NFL and CBS are Sean McManus and Harold Bryant. It's right now, with this game tied, 14-0, the Jaguars start deep in their own end. Blocking foul negating a long return on the kickoff by Shipley. There's a good throw over the middle. And the guy emerging Mercedes Lewis, you know, he doesn't, he's not in the conversation with the great tight ends in the league, but boy, he's a playmaker.
Yeah, he really is, and he always has been. He was in college, and has he taken that great big step? Has he turned into a Gronkowski? No, he hasn't. But man, this guy can also really block.
It was good for 17 yards. Here's a long ball. Blackman. And the coverage was good enough as Jason McCourty got a hand in there at the 37-yard line and knocked it away.
That's exactly what he did with that inside hand or outside hand, the right hand. You really see that well with the white gloves contrasting against the dark gloves. The white glove belonging to the defender, McCourty. The dark gloves belonging to Blackman. The white glove getting in there and knocked that away. If the ball's leading a little bit more, I don't know if McCourty could get in there and do that, but that was a fine play.
It was. It saved a 56-yard gain on the throw. Shipley underneath route. Tommy Campbell, 37, comes up to hit him. Game clock now down to 55 seconds to play in the first half. So there's a timeout on the field. Back in a moment. Ready to go from scrimmage again here in Nashville, Tennessee. The Jaguars had a 14-7 lead, and then tremendous interception and return for a touchdown by rookie Zach Brown tied it up for the Titans. Third down, needing 5. Line to gain is out to the 33-yard line. And swept under back at the 21-yard line by Derek Morgan as quarterback Chad Henne.
Yeah, Morgan and Wimley getting back at it again. It's the problem when you don't run at these defensive ends. You face a real problem stopping them. And I think that you look at right tackle Byron Stingley starting for Jacksonville. Right now, he can't block Derek Morgan pass block wise. He needs to be going forward trying to block him.
One of the things, Randy, in this league that's most remarkable is the incredible speed of defensive linemen. I mean, it's amazing how fast guys that weigh 280 pounds are.
And they have really good technique in how they do it, between shoulder lean and the way they use their hands, and they can really take advantage of bad technique by offensive linemen.
Now, a well-hit ball on the punt. Reynaud. He turns the corner. Not done. Breaks away. He's heading home. He's in the end zone. And the Titans defense has brought them back. 69-yard punt return. Who needs an offense with these kind of special teams and defensive plays?
If you're a fantasy football player and you're in the finals, you probably don't have the Tennessee Titans defense. But if you did, you've got 14 points right now. The defense has scored their touchdown, and now the special teams have their touchdown with this punt return by Reynaud. That was perfect execution on that sideline. They set up the old picket fence just perfectly on the return, and Reynaud hit that thing just steaming.
Rob Barones comes out. Reynaud in his 4th year from West Virginia. Boy, he caught it and broke it. He was gone. Nowhere to lay the glove on him, and now looking to extend the lead. Extra point up and good. And the Tennessee Titans have now come back and have taken a 21-14 lead. We'll watch it again, Randy.
Few things in this league are prettier than a well-executed return. And Renaud, yes, he gets wonderful blocking. Great. There's a wall. It's picked. But the key was the speed with which Renaud caught that ball, headed to the sideline, and then just turned it on. He got that angle, forget about it. He knew he was scoring from about 50 yards out.
Tennessee, Randy's now scored 14 points in the last minute and 15 seconds. And their offense wasn't on the field for either of them. Zach Brown's long interception return, and then Renaud on the kick return, punt return. So they're ready to kick off again. Shipley's back deep in his end zone. He had a 50-plus yard return on the previous kickoff, but it all came back because of a blocking foul.
Chad Henne and the offense will have roughly 33 seconds, about 30 seconds probably, unless this ball gets drilled into the end zone. And they still have a timeout.
That's right.
So you get the ball at a reasonable position, which is 20 yards plus. You can take some shots and take some chances. If it's inside the 20, it's a kneel down, go to the locker room, and forget about it.
Well, Justin Blackman told us yesterday that we think we can hit some stuff deep on the deep ball, deep patterns from a wide position. And that might be where the ball's going when Henne brings the offense out for the Jaguars. To Justin Blackman, who has one touchdown catch today. He has 5 catches for the day for 71 yards. Baronis. Good directional punt. Here comes Shipley. Gets it only to about the 18-yard line, so the long field to go now for the Jaguars.
Let's look at it from above. The kick return by Renaud. We'll look at the numbers here at the top of the screen. Watch the wall form. Renaud hits it, then just turns on the burners, and here comes the wall. Perfect execution. You've got an interception for a touchdown. You've got a kick return for a touchdown. And you've got a very happy home crowd here with 33 seconds or 27 seconds left in the first half.
Go!
Well, I'll tell you, that was impressive. Now, down the field the ball goes, and it's going to be all the way out to the 44-yard line as Mercedes Lewis makes another play for the Jaguars. That's good for 25.
The last timeout called now for Jacksonville. Getting a nice big chunk.
Nobody knows the game like a quarterback. Break down all the NFL action on NFL Monday QB tomorrow at 6:30 Eastern, only on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.
And it's the important time of the year to get into a quarterback's head is the playoffs. And you got a lot of playoff experience in those quarterbacks on that show.
You play with a good quarterback, a couple of them at San Francisco, Montana. I think Jerry Rice, maybe the greatest receiver ever. He's the only guy also that had back-to-back Hall of Fame quarterbacks throwing it. He had Randy Cross, among others, blocking. Right now, we have Henne, ball tipped, live ball is incomplete, and a penalty marker is thrown late at the 48-yard line.
Little tug and a hold, or did Shipley push off offensively? Because there was a lot of separation.
Pass interference. Defense number 24. Spot foul. Automatic first down.
We got it on.
They're going to have to address the clock, too. The clock didn't move. It stayed at 17.
Cody Sensabaugh. A defensive touchdown. A special teams punt return touchdown. And those two scores have brought the Titans back from a 14-7 deficit. Now Mike Munchak's team up 21-14 on their home field.
Previous play is under review. We're inside of 2 minutes. So upstairs, they're going to check on two things. One is, did the clock move? And two, more importantly, was that ball tipped? Because if the ball was tipped, then we wouldn't have to worry about the pass interference, illegal contact.
Chad Henne, a big quarterback. They list him at 6'3", 220. Looks bigger than that. They say his attitude is tremendous, right from Michigan through the pros. Guy never complains.
And when you get hit like that, you sometimes could complain. I don't know if that ball was tipped, but he was more than tipped. He was hammered.
Yeah, he's got something like a complaint box the way he was drilled. But when these pass rushers come, they come with a purpose. Take you out.
Yeah, I really couldn't see a tip there. There's nothing definitive from those angles to see this one.
Didn't look like one.
I think it got more of his arm than anything else affected the flutter on that ball. I don't think the ball was tipped.
So the game clock is stopped with 17.
There you go. That might be it right there, Don. That angle.
Got it, yeah.
I think he got a piece of it.
17 seconds to play in the first half.
Yeah, Carl Klug working inside. Klug got that hand up and got himself a little piece of the ball, I think, as it was getting out of there.
Jacksonville winning at home against Tennessee in November, week 12, 24-19. Chad Henne was sacked 7 times in that game, but did throw for 2 touchdowns in the second half. The evaluation process for every player and coach begins next week for all the non-playoff teams like these two.
Everybody in both buildings, all the buildings around the league. That's when the self-evaluation starts.
After reviewing the play, ruling on the field stands. First down.
So there's time for very little now for the Jaguars offense other than the long ball, and Henne's got a big arm. He can throw it.
Well, they've taken their time out. You get the ball down around the 30-yard line, you have time to get up there, spike the ball, and set up a field goal.
Drop at the 40, 12 seconds left. Total yards today, Jacksonville has 271 to just 102 for the Tennessee offense. But the Titans lead the game on the interception return for a score and the punt return for a score. Last week, the Jaguars outgained the Patriots 436 to 349.
Well, the lion's share of the Tennessee Titan yards came too on that first drive.
They did. Throw, catch, and out of bounds. A well-executed out by Jordan Shipley. Sensabaugh defending, and now we're down to 8 seconds. Time for another, perhaps enough to set up a field goal attempt. You guys can both kick it far.
Well, from this spot, it would be a 60 to 61-yard field goal. So in these last 8 seconds, Don, the ball has definitely got to go to the outside, and they need 10 more yards.
Justin Blackman is set to the right. That's him running the pattern over the middle. Here's the throw. Incomplete. 3 seconds left.
But now it's a simple formula. I don't even think you bother with a field goal here at 60 for Josh Scobie. Here's where you take all your protectors out, put as many receivers in as you possibly can, and you just run people down into the end zone and hope for a tip and a wild play.
Mike Malarkey, just looking on, he said he's never been around a team that practices harder, plays harder, wants it more. He's got a bad record, but it's not because of a bad attitude. 4th down. Henne, a launch. Everybody's looking for it. Incomplete. The first half ends. And the Tennessee Titans hold to a 21-14 lead at the end of the first half. We'll be back with the Verizon halftime report. First, this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS, the home of Super Bowl 47. And we are back in Nashville, Tennessee, where the Tennessee Titans with some great plays, first by the defense and then by the punt returner, have taken the lead now the Titans had after trailing 14-7. Don Criqui with Randy Cross. Randy, is interesting. You look at the total numbers, you figure, how can Jacksonville be losing this game? They have almost 300 yards offense in the first half, 202 for Tennessee, but the big plays by guys not on the offensive side.
Well, they've made the most mistakes, whether it's not covering correctly on a punt return throwing a bad pass, having it intercepted, and taking it back for a touchdown. When you only have 100 yards offense, basically, and you've got those other big plays, makes everything else look a whole lot better and could make a lot of the stats kind of deceptive, starting with the first downs, 15-5.
280 yards in the first half for Jacksonville. Total plays, Jacksonville 42, Tennessee 20. First downs, 15-5 Jacksonville, but it's the bottom line, and that belongs to Tennessee. And there is Chad Henne. You'll remember at the outset that Jacksonville did win the toss and elected to kick off. So they get the ball to start the second half. One throw that Henne would surely like to have back, the flat throw with a terrific rookie linebacker, Zach Brown. With that electric speed, stepped in front, took it, and 71 yards later was in the end zone. That tied the game. Now, Baronis ready to kick off for Tennessee. Sidewinder will carry short on the one hop. Shipley takes it out close to the 20-yard line.
This first half, we've seen some truly sensational plays that have featured speed. Zach Brown, the linebacker, he just zipped into the end zone. And the other highlight play was Renaud, the punt returner, getting an edge, getting a wall, and getting bye-bye. Man, once he accelerated and raised that ball in the air, there was no doubt there was going to be another touchdown for the Tennessee Titans.
So Mike Munchak and his Titans finding a way to take the lead.
And 46 more yards on returns than you do total offense.
Henne checks down, gets the ball to Keith Poston, nothing deep downfield, and the rush was coming. Tommy Campbell makes the stop, 37.
And we talked a little about earlier about the opportunity that Poston has made out of his chance today with the yards he's rushed for and the yards he's caught balls out of the backfield. You know, the key really is keeping these backs involved. Little short passes, great. Runs, keep the running game going. Don't put it all on Chad Henne.
Very important audition game for a lot of these backups like Poston, who's acquitted himself well. Richard Murphy runs the ball. Maurice Jones-Drew out again today, and Montel Owens didn't play today, will not. Another guy's been a very productive runner. 5 yards a carry coming to this game for Montel Owens, who needs third down, but he's not here.
Hey, remember, too, they tried to hit Blackman on a long pass in the first half on a similar situation, third and short. Now, this next time doing it here, you got to think this is going to be about a lead block and a running play, trying to get the first down, move the chains.
They got a fullback in if it's a fullback lead. Misconnection. Well, when you slow up even a little bit, the defense gobbles it up. Mike Martin, a rookie from Michigan who's playing very good football.
Boy, as bad as that Three Stooges movie was, these Three Stooges might be worse. The fullback got stuffed in the backfield, the quarterback ran into the running back, and the line didn't block. That play was doomed from the start, from the snap.
And so it is quickly 3 downs and out on the first possession of the second half for the Jaguars. Here's a punt hit downfield. Renaud cuts back. They set up a blocking scheme. No markers. Renaud on the run. Renaud breaks through. Renaud still going. No signal. He's out of bounds. Touchdown signal. The Titans do it again. An 81-yard punt return.
Jake Locker and the offense have been on the sideline for a linebacker and a return for a touchdown, and 2 Renaud punt returns for touchdowns. They've got over 240 yards in returns, or 220 yards in returns, and 102 yards in total offense.
Rob Baronis ready to kick another extra point, so the Titans, who had a 7-0 early lead and then saw Jacksonville come back with 2 touchdowns to take a 14-7 lead. And now Mike Munchak, a man well pleased with the play of his complete football team, ready to watch Baronis extend that lead to 28-14.
Now, I don't think Renaud wasted much space on that sideline. That sideline is his friend, and He tiptoed along it as guys were trying to make their tackles. Other guys on his team were making blocks. That was another perfectly executed return and wall after a misdirection and a change of direction, almost falling down.
These NFL officials are so well positioned. They got that sideline scoped out. They're with the run all the way down. Good all the way. It's 28-14 Tennessee. Tennessee has extended now to a 28-14 lead on a second punt return touchdown by Darius Renata. On the left is Alan Lowry, whose guys are having a great day on special teams. He's the head special teams coach.
He's been here in Tennessee a long time. Goes all the way back to the big Hail Mary return in the playoffs. And he's been one of the better special teams coach in the NFL for quite some time.
Baronis with a big leg booms it into the end zone, and on the way out is Richard Murphy. Out across the 20, close to the 22-yard line. Overhead look.
And it's all set up right here by Renaud, who runs here and then gets jumbled up and then runs down the sideline.
Watch the blocker set up here. It's terrific.
I mean, it was meant to be a return middle or right. The blockers adjust. See, now's the adjustment. And now everything is set up on the sideline. The Jacksonville defenders can see it. He avoids the last tackle, and like you said earlier, Don, the officials never got out of position on that play. They had every reason to get out of position. Goodness knows the Jacksonville cover team did.
That is, Randy, the first time in team history that a player has run for 2 punt return scores for Tennessee. Injured Tennessee player being attended to. We'll be back in a moment.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Zero Dark 30, in theaters January. And by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Here we go.
There is Patrick Daly, who was shaken up on the last play. He's up and okay.
And Patrick Bailey came into the pile. He's on the right side of the screen, right there. He comes in, and then he's getting hit from the other side. Took a pretty good shot in his shoulder and neck, and spent a few minutes on the ground, but during commercial got up and was let off the field.
Collided with his own teammate now. Pressure on Chad Henne and the Jaguars to get it going. Had a 14-7 lead. They're now down by 2 touchdowns. I think Blackman's going to figure in the game plan in the second half. To the run, and this time the Titans are playing the run well as Keith Toston gets the carry.
You still have almost a 2-to-1 advantage in time of possession, as we saw those halftime stats, and suddenly you find yourself down 14. It's usually pretty easy to push the panic button and not run the ball and get out of your game plan. I think it's best for Chad Henne and the Jags and Mike Mularkey to stay dedicated to that run and take control of the ball and score eventually.
Virtually a whole half of football still to be played, so they got time to stay with their game plan. Here's an interception. This could go in. Picked off. Another defensive touchdown by Zach Brown. And a bad situation for the Jaguars becomes horrendous.
When things are going wrong and a ball gets tipped, when you're a 2-13 team, the ball never tips down. It always tips up. And Mike Mularkey's team just saw a great example of that. Ball is tipped up in the air. Zach Brown gets it and gets himself his second touchdown return of the day. So Renaud with 2 punt return touchdowns. Zach Brown with 2 defensive touchdowns on interception returns. And meanwhile, the Tennessee Titans offense for Mike Munchak is sitting on the sideline. They need to start stretching or something or running up and down because they're going to get tight. They're not doing anything.
Well, this is an unbelievable rebound for the Titans. They were one of the worst losses in the history of the franchise. 55-7 last week at Green Bay. The Titans were beaten. Now they rally back today to dominate this game. Most linebackers don't run 2 interceptions back for touchdowns in their careers. Zach Brown, the rookie for the Titans, has done it twice today.
And he didn't need all that speed we talked about earlier. It was only about a 15-yard return. Tommy Campbell, the DB, great job getting the ball tipped up in the air.
28 straight points scored in this game by Tennessee, and now the special teams continues to bring it.
One more time, Clemens is the intended receiver. Campbell's 37, right there, gets his hand in between Clemens' arms. That ball's deflected right into the hands of Zach Brown. And at that point, Chad Henne's got no shot at preventing another touchdown on that return.
Henne's overall numbers, 16 to 27 for 201 yards, 2 touchdowns, but he's also thrown.
Actually, it was 4 touchdowns.
That's right.
Unfortunately, 2 for Tennessee.
His 2 interceptions. Run back for touchdowns, and now on the run is Henne. Declares himself down with a feet-first slide. Second down and about 6.
Yeah, the hardest thing in these situations, I've been on bad teams at the end of the year. I've been on a 2-13 team. Keep that sense of urgency. Keep the pace up of your offense. It's really easy to kind of lag at this point.
Titans, boy, they're fast forward. Unbelievable special teams and defensive plays, and they've scored 28 unanswered points to come from behind and take command 35-14.
You know, during that last sequence, during the touchdown that Zach Brown had, I looked down at the Titans sideline behind Mike Munchak there where the offense is sitting. You know, you had Chris Johnson and Kenny Britt and the rest of them. They were all laughing and high-fiving, and they haven't had to do anything since sometime in the second quarter. Just stay warm, get a little water in you.
They're making it happen fast, the Titans, with 14 points in the last 51 seconds before this possession by the Jaguars. Henne dancing, high ball, right to the wrong guy again. This could go for a touchdown. Still working. Michael Griffin, a former #1 pick out of the University of Texas, takes it inside the 10. And with this performance, as Henne has come apart, the times are a-changing in Jacksonville.
Well, the last couple, you've seen a tip, you've seen bad luck. This is just a bad pass.
After the interception, during the return, illegal block in the back, intercepting team, 10-yard penalty. Tennessee keeps the ball. First down.
And for Chad Henne right here, he goes 1-2, goes to his third receiver, who is Blackman, but he grossly overthrows Blackman right into the arms of Griffin. Because Blackman, he's not even open, because coming underneath, you know, sort of with a great angle, was Tommy Campbell again.
Campbell getting playing time for the first time, really, of a substantial amount this day to day, and right now he's making plays. Tennessee offense has scored 1 touchdown. The defense has scored 2. The special teams have scored 2. Mike Mularkey coaching his quarterback.
Right now, the Tennessee offense just sort of trying to get warmed back up, trying to get some points out of that last interception.
Johnson works his way inside the 20 and down close to the 15-yard line. C.J. Mosley, defensive tackle on the stop. So the line of scrimmage is the 16-yard line. And he looks at the play sheet on the sideline, and the guy's telling him don't throw it there.
Titans need to get to the 14-yard line to get this first down.
Ready, go.
2. Pitch. Johnson. Cut back. Good D by the Jaguars. Needed that for a long time, but still it's deep in their own end. There's actually a loss of a yard. Terrence Knighton was on the stop.
Well, you'd have to call that play an attempt at misdirection.
There are Cox with him.
The offense was trying misdirection, but no one bid on it on the defensive side. That was a really nice job. And on 4th and 3, Tennessee's going for it. Try to get an offsides. Get your Bart going early.
4th and 3. Jake Locker stands in. Tip ball incomplete. And the Jaguars take over the ball, albeit down by 3 touchdowns.
Kenny Britt was open too. Jake Locker standing in the pocket. Had a wide receiver that was open. Terrence Knighton underneath. Bats that ball down. Britt did everything he needs to do, turned his chest right towards his quarterback, and that's been a problem that Jake Locker's had not only at Tennessee but also in college at Washington. Tends to get a lot of balls batted back at him.
There's a lot of smiles in the press box talking with Lake Dawson, the director of player personnel for the Titans. I see a lot of these young guys making touchdown plays. Right now, just hammer away football by the Jaguars.
You're now down by 21 points halfway through the 3rd quarter. I think Jacksonville's showing some patience, but they're being realistic. Dan Henne could end up with 6 interceptions if they keep throwing the ball.
There's almost 7 minutes gone in the 3rd quarter.
It's not a clock issue. There's plenty of time to run your offense.
You better start running it well pretty soon. Right now, a throw, catch, and working hard for a first down is Mercedes Lewis. Big tight end, 6'6", 265. 10-yard gain, first down, Jaguars. They've really taken Blackman out of the game, Randy. Doubling up on him.
After the start that he had, Don,
incredible.
It was pretty obvious that they were trying to just feed him the ball. I wouldn't give up, though. You might just see more crossing patterns with him.
Now the Jaguars want to spread 5 receivers on first down. On target throw. Ball on the field. Jaguars keep it. Blackman caught it, lost it, and got it back.
Yeah, Justin Blackman got lucky there on that play. Pushes off a little bit on Werner. Linebacker comes in from the inside. Akeem Ayers and pulls that ball loose, and Blackman's able to bounce back inside on it and fall on it.
2nd and 2. Play fake. And he stands in over the middle. Terrific catch by Jordan Shipley. 3rd-year receiver from Texas. 14-yard gain.
Here's an NFL window for you for a completion. That is a very small space to fit that ball in. Nice pass by Henne, better catch by Shipley.
Henne, 19 of 31 for 233, 2 touchdowns, but 3 interceptions. 2 of them returned for touchdowns. Straight ahead power. Keith Toston, 2nd-year runner from Oklahoma State, drives the ball. Stopped by 99, Jarrell Casey.
They've done a much better job, the defense for Tennessee this second half, of stalling the running game of Jacksonville a little bit and putting them into passing situations.
Titan coaches wanted a very extensive look at their quarterback Locker in this game. But Locker's been a spectator, and the rest of his team's played so well on defense and special teams to take over the game.
Well, Vernon does a really nice job. He won't give up the inside position. Look at Blackman tries to come across his face, and Werner says, no, sorry, you're not getting that inside spot. I won't give it to you, and the ball actually hits him right in the chest.
Gordy was covering on the play, so now we have third down arising. Third down and 7. The Jaguars down 35-14. Blitz, safety blitz. And Henne finds his way through it. He'll get a first down. Slides down to the 35-yard line. Good play by Henne, who escapes trouble and gets a 9-yard gain and first down.
And making him pay. Man coverage behind it meant there was no one in that middle zone area to prevent him from getting that first down.
Where'd he go?
Henne on first down. Long ball. Too much on it. Gallant effort by Jordan Shipley, but he can't come down with it. Got a hand on it.
That was Cody Sensabaugh, the defensive back, working against Shipley. And again, we saw a nice example of good body positioning by the defensive player. He wouldn't give up that inside position because Henne wanted to fit the ball inside to his receiver.
Interesting, Indianapolis last report leading against the Texans.
That is the most fabulous story of the year, what's gone on in Indianapolis. Chuck Pagano's story, a great job.
Really, yeah, it is.
Well, I mean, you got a coach coming back, leukemia, the cancer treatments. Bruce Arians steps in and does as good a job as any regular head coach in this league has done through the course of the season. And then you've got, how about the personnel job through the course of the offseason, building that team to go from the worst team in the league with the #1 pick to a playoff team. I mean, Andrew Luck would be the obvious, and he's had a very good year, but top to bottom, if you don't feel good about the Colts, you may want to check yourself for a heart.
Right now, let's see what the check is here for Henne as he throws an out pattern. And let's go to New York now to James Brown as the scoreboard is changing. James.
Daylight for the Colts.
That's right. It's DJ Karimi. He's going to go 101-yard kickoff return. And this is after the Houston Texans had put on a touchdown and tacked on a field goal to take a 16-14 lead. Back comes Indianapolis. They go up 21-16. Remember, Houston fighting for the #1 seed in the AFC.
Don Criqui, Randy Cross.
All right, JB and Boomer in New York, and right now in Nashville we have 4th down and 3 for the Jaguars. Line to gain for the first is the 26-yard line of the Titans. From the shotgun, they come with 4 on the rush. Drop ball. It was where it had to be, but Mercedes Lewis couldn't bring it in. He's been playing well today other than that.
Quick note on that Houston-Indy game. Houston has never won a game at Indy. Haven't done it. May not now.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Samsung Galaxy Note 2. The next big thing is here. And by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Ready to go. First down, Tennessee. Through the run, not much there.
If every play is an audition for 2013, here's Mercedes Lewis auditioning as a blocking tight end. He's got a catch. He's already got 5 catches today. He's got about 70 yards receiving, but that was right in the kitchen. That was such an easy layup. You can't miss that.
How about this, Randy? Tennessee has no first downs in this quarter and only 7 yards offense. They've scored 14 points. Over the middle throw, but a check down. Well short of a first down. It's going to bring up third down. DeJuan Landry was in quickly to get Taylor Thompson, another of the rookie tight ends playing today for Tennessee. 84. So this brings up third down and a long 3, more like 4.
We've seen both offenses go for it on 4th down here in the other guy's territory. Obviously, this situation here, Locker and company a punt if this isn't a first down.
Jags were sending everybody on a blitz.
And a couple of them were jumping early.
Was it neutral zone?
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 58. 5-yard penalty. Results in a first down.
Yeah, Jacksonville's just making the kind of mistakes they've made all year long. Those are self-inflicted wounds.
So it's first down, Tennessee. That commanding 35-14 lead. This guy's a home run hitter on any touch. Chris Johnson breaks it for a first down to the 46-yard line. Rosinski, the free safety, makes the stop, but he does it 13 yards downfield.
And we've seen Chris Johnson get some nice holes today. That might be one of the best ones, right straight ahead. He is 7 yards deep into the Jacksonville defense before anyone even lays a hand on him. Beautiful blocking up front.
Yeah, really. Taylor Thompson, the tight end, the rookie tight end, got a big block. Opened it up.
Go!
So the Titans methodically going about their work with a 35-14 lead. Down to the 46-yard line.
Darrell Smith bringing down Chris Johnson.
Good to see him back. He's been out to play his first game actually last week. He'd been out 14 games with a groin injury that required surgery. Over 1,000 career tackles for the Jacksonville team, most all-time, number 52, from 9th year from Georgia Tech. Second down and 10. Blocker repositions his tight end. Go to the run. Darius Renard gets some, not allowed.
Now that looked like a play out of the Rich Rodriguez West Virginia playbook with Renard with misdirection. Jake Locker running to the right. It just didn't work very well.
Well, earlier today when things weren't going well, all these Titan fans, some of them even wearing bags over their heads, were booing virtually any misplay. Now they've stopped even cheering. They're doing the wave. Their team in command, 35-14. Locker checks down, on target, working hard, working the sideline is Kenny Britt. Big wide receiver from Rutgers. Yeah, we've talked about him in the open, and Kenny Britt has 4 touchdowns in the last 3 games playing against the Jaguars. Hasn't got one yet today. Now he's shaking up.
A little discomfort there with that left shoulder. Getting some attention. It's been that kind of year for Kenny Britt.
Back to live action and back to the run. Chris Johnson continues to pound away. Came into the game with 1,187 yards, 4.7 a carry. Also caught 35 balls. Today he's run 15 times for 53 yards. That's the end of the third quarter with Tennessee in the lead, 35-14. We'll return after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. With Randy Cross, this is Don Criqui back in Nashville, Tennessee, ready to start the fourth quarter. The Titans, who were beaten 55-7 last week at Green Bay, rally back today behind great defense and special teams play, and have come from behind to take command of this game, 35-14 over the Jaguars. Jake Locker, hands off, running hard. Chris Johnson.
Yep. Chris Johnson lost a shoe on the previous play, had to leave the field. And for those of you that remember, on a Monday night, this Tennessee Titans team played a game against the Jets. He wrote the names of the victims of the Sandy Hook tragedy on his shoe. And those shoes are up for auction, Don. What are they up to now?
I think it's over $6,300 the last bid.
You can go to NFL.com if you'd like to add to that auction.
Rolling out, Jake Locker. By one tackler and finds his way ahead for a first down. On a 3rd down and 2, he got about 3. Darrell Smith got him down, so Jake Locker, one of the reasons he went so high in the draft, 8th in the first round in 2011, was because of his mobility.
You know, it was a great, back to that story about Chris Johnson, a great sign, an unbelievable deal by him, and he tops it off that day or that night with that 94-yard touchdown run. Just, I mean, a feel-good story getting better.
Remember the victims. Right now, Chris Johnson gets the ball and the penalty marker's fired in as he goes down for a loss of about 3 yards on the play.
He was stopped initially, I think, by a face mask.
What this does, Randy, for the Titans, you win the last game like this after getting blown out in your previous game.
Offense number 45. 10-yard penalty.
Really gives you some impetus
Retrieve
going into the
first
offseason. Coming next, the run-up to the playoff wraps up. Reggie Bush and the Dolphins go against Tom Brady and the Patriots. Or the Chiefs challenge Peyton Manning and the Broncos, while the Raiders go against the Chargers. Check local listings. More people watch the NFL on CBS than on any other network.
Don't forget, too, to stay tuned to the post-game show and the guys in the studio to keep you updated as far as what's going on with the AFC and NFC playoff pictures. There's plenty of stuff in flux as far as home field advantage, the first 2 playoff spots that are going to get buys in the first week of the playoffs, especially on the AFC side.
And Bud Adams has been such a great part of pro football. The owner of the Titans was so discouraged last week, he said he shut off his television set. Sure, Bud, he'll be 90 this week. He's smiling today, ready for a happy birthday.
Well, one thing you have seen that's, I think, a great sign, and it's something that's emphasized by Mike Reinfeld and Mike Munchak, this entire organization, is the progression of the younger players. We saw Zach Brown in his 2 interception returns. Chris Raynaud, only a 4th-year player. People forget, Chris Johnson, this is just his 5th season. He came into this game needing 94 yards to be the 5th fastest running back, or the top 5 running back in his first 5 years in the league. Some pretty lofty territory when it comes to who the top 5 is.
And he's not only got great talent, he's got a tremendous attitude, Chris Johnson. He's spending a lot of time with him yesterday. Look at this throw on the run. Too much heat on it.
Yeah. He was past the line of scrimmage. You can't do that, Jake. He was well past the line of scrimmage.
Line of scrimmage was the 28, and he was close to the 26.
Illegal forward pass. Offense number 10. 5-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Loss it down. 4th down.
So the 29-yard line is where the ball is snapped. You run forward. Now the ball has to be all the way over it, but he was up by the 25-yard line by the time he threw that ball. That's just sort of a sense of place and time. You have to know where you are on the football field.
So Rob Baronis, who once was kicking practice balls in his lunch hour after he'd been cut by an NFL team, and now has come back to be one of the really good kickers in the league. He'll try a 48-yarder.
Now he kicks balls during his lunch period and gets paid for it.
He does indeed, and he booms it right on time down the middle. And a good day gets better for the Tennessee Titans. Down 14-7 at one time. They now lead 38-14. Here's a guy, Randy, who's been waiting.
And waiting. And waiting. That's not going to be much longer, I don't think. The good young talent around here, guaranteed another decent draft pick. You give Mike Munchak and company a chance to restock the line of scrimmage. I think they'll be back where they belong, which is a big, tough, physical football team.
They're pretty open about what they're looking for in the draft, and that is offensive line. There's a couple of great tackles, 2 of them at Texas A&M.
Yeah. One related to their offensive line coach, Bruce Matthews, his son.
Thursday on CBS, catch the first new Elementary of the year and see why it's TV's #1 new show. Thursday, only CBS.
Sherlock Holmes with a whole different twist.
Yeah. Don Criqui with Randy Cross here in Nashville. Tennessee has scored 31 straight points since trailing 14-7. Get the big back in the game. Keith Toston takes a pass. Knocked down by 94. Senderick Marks a 12-yard gain.
Toston took a couple of pretty good shots to the ribs in that tackle. Not too fast getting up. Pretty good shot in the side of his helmet, too. Helmet-to-helmet contact there.
He's played well today, Tostin. Getting his chance because of injuries. Maurice Jones-Drew out again. Montel Owens out today. So while Keith Tostin is attended to, there's a break in the action. We'll be back after this.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Verizon. Share the holidays with the Share Everything plan. Mercedes-Benz. Experience truly great engineering today at your authorized dealer. And by T. Rowe Price. Understanding the connections of a complex global economy. Invest with confidence.
Coming to you from Nashville, Tennessee. Capital city of the Volunteer State. The home team rallying back with a very impressive win. Now trying to work their way back into the game in the fourth quarter are the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jordan Shipley, 16 with a catch, and Tommy Campbell with another tackle.
Yeah, the most points this team has scored was an overtime game against Detroit early this season. They scored 44 points. So far, these 38 points, they've got 28 points out of their defense and special teams with plays like that out of their defense.
Senderick Marks, big guy from Auburn. Overpowering defensive lineman. So that brings up third down now, and it's going to be about 12 for the ball is position. Line to gain for the first down is the 46-yard line of the Jaguars.
And that was pressure at the middle of the defensive line, Don. We've seen a lot of stuff come around the outsides today.
You see, that's the toughest for quarterbacks to handle. It's right up the middle at him. Step away. Right now, they send a blitz. And the blitz works. 6 pass rushers, and they get to the quarterback and sweep him under, led by Derek Morgan.
That was an excellent job by Keith Millard, the defensive line coach's defensive line. They spend a lot of time in practice working on stunts and games and how those work with blitzes, and Jerry Gray, the defensive coordinator, making the call, and that D-line executing it extremely well.
Here's the punt to Reynaud. Got to be good news for the Jaguar punt coverage as they watch him let it roll, because he's run 2 back today. 10:25 left to go. Tennessee commanding the game 38-14. The Wile E. Coyote, his tongue hanging down like a necktie. His team rolling 38-14. Now they're ready to run the ball out of the Titans with a 38-14 lead. See, 10:25 left to play. As Johnson reverses his field. Jaguars all over, though. Wednesday in primetime, JB, Phil Simms, and Chris Collinsworth will showcase America's favorite game with their own unique style. Inside the NFL Wednesday on Showtime. Line of scrimmage, the 20-yard line. Line on the scoreboard, 38-14 Tennessee.
Go.
Locker ready to run his back again.
Green 8.
Chris Johnson.
Green 8, go.
Play fakes to Johnson. Checks down, throws to Johnson. That works too. He's out close to the 28-yard line of the Titans. It'll bring up third down. About 4.
Really nice play made by mainly Jake Locker, buying the time, dumping the ball off to Johnson, and sets up a reasonable third down try, 3rd and 4 here.
Well, the weather has turned around dramatically, just as the Titans have turned around dramatically since last week. Just yesterday, freezing cold, sleet, snow, rain, heavy winds. Today, perfect football weather. Right now, Locker fires a fastball on the out pattern, gets his man, and they're on the run. Kendall Wright, the rookie, who had more catches coming into this game than any rookie receiver in the league, 62. Didn't play last week with an injury. Gets a big gainer there, a 36-yard gain.
Yeah, Kendall Wright's had some bad ribs, but Jake Locker whips out a frozen rope. And Kendall Wright takes it, and you see him turn that speed on. That's the kind of speed he was able to display last year as Robert Griffin III's primary receiver down at Baylor for Art Briles.
Here they go.
So the Titans with their big lead drive on. Chris Johnson getting a full day's work. His 19th carry of the day.
It's getting near his desired workload, Don. He talked about during his 2,000-yard season, he was up in the 23, 24, 25 a game range, and that's the kind of workload he can still carry. He can still handle that if he's getting that blocking up front.
And when we talked to him yesterday, it was interesting, Randy. He said after that 2,000-yard season, what he did was took 3 months off. He was spent. Tank was empty.
Tight. Green 8. Green 8, go.
Second down and 6. Locker, that strong arm, gets the ball again to Kendall Wright. 5'10", 195-pounder.
You know, Chris Johnson, we talked about how well he's running. He's 39 yards away from joining a pretty illustrious list that we'll give you a look at. It's something because he's kind of, you know, he's CJ 2K. People associate him because he did it early in his career. It was all about the 2,000 yards, but he's been more than just a 2,000-yard rusher. I mean, he's been the workhorse for this offense these first 5 years.
Another fastball. Walker, top baseball prospect. Center fielder.
And when you look at Chris Johnson, what he's done in his first 5 years, he's trying to get on a list that's pretty impressive. Here are the best running backs, the top 5 running backs in their first 5 years. Guys with the most yards in their first 5 years in the league. And Chris Johnson down there at 68-87 is right behind Sweetness himself, Walter Payton, 39 yards from that distinction at number 5.
How about Eric Dickerson, over 8,000 his first 5 years. Big rush on Locker. His feet help him on a 4th down, but not enough as he's going to be well short of the first down, and the Jaguars will take over the ball. Eric Dickerson said during the week he hopes that Adrian Peterson is MVP of the league, but he doesn't want him breaking his rushing record.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by McDonald's. I'm loving it. And by USAA, proudly serving the financial needs of the military, veterans, and their families.
Jacksonville Jaguars with the ball, first down. They scored on their first 2 possessions today and have not scored on their next 10. There is the big catch downfield by Mercedes Lewis. First down to the 47-yard line of the Titans. Afalava makes the stop. 24-yard gain on the play.
That's Mercedes Lewis's 6th catch of the day. He's been a real weapon in the middle of the field, redeeming himself for that one pretty bad drop on 4th down early.
6 catches for 94 yards. That's a face mask.
Oh, yeah. Pretty blatant.
Jarius Wynn put the rush on. But now Bill Vinovich will make the pronouncement on a face mask foul.
Personal foul. Face mask. Defense number 79. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Plus, if it's not a face mask, he's definitely getting a pretty good shot into the head and face of Chad Henne when he does grab the face mask.
He really grabbed it, man.
Got more of the opening of the helmet than anything else, but that's just as bad.
So with the penalty mark off, the ball is now down to the 39-yard line of the Titans. First down and 10. 38-14. Down 14-7. The Titans with 31 unanswered points. Throw and a catch, and over the 100-yard mark receiving for the day. As Tim Shaw makes the stop on Mercedes Lewis, who makes the catch.
some lucky fantasy football owner playing on a CBS league somewhere got lucky with him if they're starting him in a championship game.
Chad Henne didn't have time to lock and load there as he was blasted by Zach Brown, 55, the rookie who scored 2 touchdowns and interception returns today for Tennessee.
Zach Brown coming on a blitz around a game inside. If week 17, this last game, is a resume tape for 2013, watch out for this young Tar Heel and this Tennessee Titans football team.
And that, Randy, was the 5th sack of the day for the Tennessee defense. Crossing pattern on target. Tony Clemens with his 2nd catch.
Well, the 5th one today, that means in their 2 meetings this year, Tennessee has 12 sacks against Jacksonville.
Right, in the first game they had 7, but they lost the game to the Jaguars on November 25th, 24-19. Of course, still one of the most celebrated athletes in North Florida history in any sport is Tim Tebow. And the speculation continues that he may join the Jacksonville Jaguars, although nobody in that organization has said so.
Well, as Mike Mularkey said yesterday, he goes, it's a story that won't go away, but I know one thing, that story didn't come out of our building. Well, it doesn't have to come out of your building, Mike. The kid went to Nice High School. The fans talk about him. The newspapers talk about him. All the websites talk about him. There were reports today that their general manager, Gene Smith, would be out. If the general manager is out, that means possibly the coach, Mike Mularkey, could be out, depending on who comes in here. And then it's down to who that Shad Khan brings in here to replace not only the GM, but also the head coach, as to whether there is a real possibility that Tim Tebow could be a quarterback.
Well, the Jets brought him in amidst great fanfare, and it turned into a PR disaster because they didn't play him.
Well, they brought him in for PR. They didn't bring him in for football. It was a totally shallow, stupid move by Mike Tannenbaum and Rex Ryan. I mean, really a bad move.
Well, the thinking was Sperano was pretty much the architect of the Wildcat with the Miami Dolphins, and I know Dan Henning, who'd work with him, said Tebow was going to be a red zone quarterback for them. That was the plan, but it never worked out that way.
Well, he ended up being an up back on the punt team.
Right.
You look at the guy who threw for over 9,000 yards in college. Ran for a lot of yards in college. So it's not like he can't throw at all. I've seen the kid throw. I think he is what he is. He's not changing his habits. But in a pistol-style offense, in an offense much like what Mike Shanahan is doing with RG3 in Washington, it is not unrealistic to think that he could play in this league. I know it's not a popular opinion, and it's definitely not shown. It's not shared by many that have played that position, including the guys that sit on our panel on our pregame show. But
well, there's evidence to support he can play in this league. Look what he did last year at Denver. He had a winning record, and he won a playoff game.
And taking the football and putting it aside, which sounds utterly asinine in the NFL, but if you're just talking about marketing and sales in North Florida, he'll put 10, 12, 15,000 extra people in those stands.
At least.
He'll sell merchandise. And let's be honest, it's not always just about the X's and O's. Occasionally it's about the Jimmies and Joes, and in this case the Timmies. And right now in North Florida, they'd like to get themselves a Timmy.
But in the end, owners look at W's. You want to win games. Nothing fills your building like winning games. There is the new owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
He's done an absolutely fabulous job, Shad Khan has. I think. He's only been in there a year. Remember, it was just this last January he was approved as the owner.
Well, he is through and through a football fan. Went to Illinois and became a tremendous fan there. Born in Pakistan, and tremendous success in the auto parts business. And he loves football.
You know, and they do have other quarterbacks in Jacksonville. You have to say, just last year, they drafted Blaine Gabbert. It's Blaine Gabbert right there with the strap, the harness on his left shoulder.
He suffered that injury on November 21st. Yeah, Gabbert was a high first-round pick.
He came out of the Missouri offense, Gary Pinkel's offense. A lot of spread look, all shotgun.
Came in very young though. Here's a block by the Jaguars. And will they get a special teams touchdown? They're going to. Mike Harris, a rookie defensive back from Florida State, a 6th-round pick, has a big moment. 20-yard return for a touchdown. Well, Blaine Gabbert, we were talking yesterday to their coaching staff. They said, he came in as a third-year player. He was he was 21 years old when he was drafted. And might have served him better to stay longer in college, but he's certainly in the picture.
Well, he sat standing on the sideline, just saw the ball get utterly smothered by Mike Harris. He blocks it up, comes all the way around, and ends up being the Jaguar to pick it up and to score with it. Might be a case of a little bit too little, too late for Jacksonville. The one thing you know for sure with this entire organization, when this game is over, there will be a whole lot of introspective looks and evaluation. Going for 2.
Rolling out. Chad Henne. Incomplete. Another thing we can be sure of here, Randy, is we're going to see an onside kick.
Back to Blaine Gabbert real quick. In Shad Khan, you just saw a shot of him, the owner. They drafted Blaine Gabbert, and I believe this with every intention of him sitting for a year or so. You mentioned how young he was. He was only 21 years old. He had not taken regular snaps under center. He'd been in the shotgun. They were going to let him progress and become an NFL quarterback through the course of his young career. Well, that year and a half on the bench turned into 3, 4, 5 weeks on the bench. Suddenly he was just sort of thrown to the wolves, and it's what you see happen to so many young quarterbacks. You haven't seen it lately. Let's be honest. RG3, he went to a team like Washington. They have a defense, they have a running game. Andrew Luck, he was lucky enough that Grigson and company there, they built a team around him, and he could be dynamic. Flacco had it. Ryan had the same formula. Gabbert didn't have the team around him, and he physically suffered for it. But he's been mentally very strong through it.
Well, as Yogi Berra once said, you can learn a lot, see a lot by watching. And Locker talked about last week watching Aaron Rodgers of the Packers, how he plays the game, how he creates with his feet, extends plays, puts the ball only where his receiver can get it. And Locker played a very sound game today, Randy, I think. Although he wasn't out there a lot of the game because the rest of the team was doing so well on special teams and defense, scoring touchdowns.
Saw the onside kick there. Kyle Bosworth, the young linebacker, that ball bounced off him. He was in position to catch it well outside that 10 yards it needed to go for the recovery, but it went out of bounds.
So here is our referee, Bill Voinovich. In a moment with 2:06 left to play.
There was no foul on the play. The receiving team touched the ball prior to going out of bounds. Tennessee ball, first down.
Tomorrow, CBS Sports jumps into the bowl season as the USC Trojans face the Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech in the Sun Bowl from El Paso. Trojans #1 in the country for the first 2 or 3 weeks of the college season.
Enough little controversy in that this week anyway in that game. Lane Kiffin brings his team about an hour to 90 minutes late to a dinner. Says that we were late getting in, late going to practice, so everything was backed up. That's his story, and he's sticking to it.
He's a pretty amazing story. 37 years old, and he's already been head coach of the Oakland Raiders, Tennessee Volunteers, and the USC Trojans.
Chris Johnson gets a little twist on his ankle on that play. Watch on the very end of this play, as the tackle's being made, that right foot gets trapped underneath Russell Allen, the linebacker. Russell Allen, he was a great signing, a free agent from San Diego State.
That was a big win for the scouting department of the Jaguars. 42 tackles in 2 games against Houston this year, 22-1 and 20 in another. Back to the run. Our run it is.
One more time as Colin Mooney got himself a few positive yards. The fullback out of Army, and Johnson's on the sideline trying to get that ankle better.
We're back to Tennessee. Don Criqui with Randy Cross. Game summary: 35 points scored by the Tennessee defense and punt return teams combined. 23 points scored by the offense. In this game, it's really been a tremendous team effort by the Titans. Fullback Mooney from West Point drives ahead. Coming up, time permitting after the game, the NFL Today update presented by Farmers Insurance. Join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cower for all the latest NFL scores, highlights, and playoff information.
Yeah, don't miss that studio update, because that's where you're going to get all your information about the NFC playoffs, home field advantage in the AFC, and where everybody's going to end up 1 through 6, setting up the playoff game starting next Saturday.
Tremendous work again by our CBS crew, and we thank them all, headed by producer Sellers Shy and director Jim Cornell. The executive producers of the NFL on CBS are Sean McManus and Harold Bryant. Another hard run by the former cadet, Mooney. Down to
Offside.
1:17 to play.
Defense number 91. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
No game next week, obviously, for these two teams. Randy, what goes on with the players this week?
Well, more importantly, I think the coaches, especially at Tennessee, everybody needs about a week off to just decompress. Don't make any harsh, rash decisions when you're really tired. And then I think they start working on the draft. They start taking into consideration the Senior Bowl. Mike Munchak and company can dial in on which linemen, which skill players they want to address when it comes to free agency and the draft. Don't forget, they were active in the Peyton Manning derby.
Yes, they were.
With a big chunk of change, which left them in a tough spot free agent-wise.
That's a very good point. They had to keep their powder dry. They were holding back a lot of money trying to sign Peyton Manning, and then they really, in the long free agency period, awfully got very brief and people were gone.
So it's critical that, they look at where they're going to spend the money when it comes to free agency. And like I joked about earlier, but only kind of half joking, Mike's just got to go to Bruce Matthews, his offensive line coach, and say, okay, 2 tackles, Texas A&M, if they're both coming out, you've got Luke Jokel and you've got your son Jake, which one do we draft? I wouldn't want to be that dad been put in that position about which guy do we draft.
Well, if they're anything like Munchak and Bruce Matthews were, good players, Hall of Famers.
And then from the Jacksonville standpoint, what's going to happen with general manager Gene Smith? What's going to happen then to head coach Mike Mularkey?
That's right.
Where is this football team and this organization going? They love Jacksonville. Jacksonville loves them. They need to put the product on the field the fans deserve.
Well, that will do it. Final score, the Tennessee Titans rallying back from that blowout loss at Green Bay 55-7 to win today 38-20. Coming up next, it's game 2 of the NFL on CBS doubleheader. Mike Munchak leaves the field a winner and his team 6-10 on the season. Jaguars finished with their worst record 18 years. So for Randy Cross, this is Don Criqui. You've been watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 47. Now today's update from Farmers Insurance and to James Brown.